What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Plays, and today I'm going to be going over the newly leaked info about ODIN and MANGOG. Roll the intro. Okay, guys, so Marvel Contest of Champions, their Twitter account, they accidentally posted the champions for next month, which are going to be ODIN and MANGOG. They removed that post, but Marvel Truckos, he put it up, so now we know next month's two new champions are going to be ODIN and MANGOG. So Odin, I'm so surprised it's taken them this long to add Odin. He's such a great character. I feel like there's so much you could do with him. Such a well-known character too. It's just, but I'm glad they've got around to it. And so just a little bit of info. We've got Odin and MANGOG. So first off with MANGOG, what his whole thing is, he's the embodiment. Is the sum of the total of hatred of a billion beings that were once killed by the ruler of Asgard, Odin. So pretty much he is fueled by the hatred of the billions of people who were killed by Odin and just the hatred for Odin. And so he has a bunch of different powers. So he possesses fearsome strength, stamina, durability, and endurance of those billion beings. And that is a lot. It's even more than Thor, and capable of defeating large numbers of Asgardian warriors and storm giants. He also has the ability to manipulate magic for energy production and shapeshifting. I feel like that'd be a cool thing that they could do in the game. It says he appears to be immortal and ultimately indestructible, so we could see maybe he has some indestructible features, sort of like Luke Cage does, sort of like Hela's awakening ability. Existing so long as hatred does, and he draws strength from hate itself, even that of his enemies. And so when I first saw MANGOG, he sort of looked like he sort of reminded me looking like Dragon Man. So I wonder, and he's also a really big champion. He's probably gonna be XL. So I'm really excited to see if he sort of has the same play style, because he's also got a tail. He might have the same type of animations, which would be cool. But then when I started reading this guy's abilities, he sort of sounds like the opposite of what Psycho Man was this month. Because this month, Psycho Man he projects hatred, doubt, and fear into other people. But this champion, he feeds on the hatred of other people. So I wonder if they'll do sort of the same type of mechanics as Psycho Man has, just like projecting out hatred. Maybe different debuffs like concussion, whatever, to project out hatred onto the opponent. So he has superhuman strength, of course, superhuman stamina, and superhuman durability, like we already said. He's also got energy manipulation, so he's able to manipulate vast amounts of mystical energy from numerous purposes. Though they are used almost always for destructive purposes, most commonly ability to manipulate most substances on a molecular level and to fire massively powerful blasts of concussive force from his hands. So I'm guessing there might be some there's probably gonna be some concussion utility with this guy. So and his capacity is so great, he swallowed War Thor lightning and then he shot it back at him. So this guy's powerful. He's also got shapeshifting. He's adept at mysticism and matter manipulation, so he can take the form of others if he needs to. So I don't know exactly what they would do in the game with this, but it's just an interesting thing they could explore. Then Sin Empowerment. His greatest strength lies in his unstoppable rage and malice, coupled with his ability to feed into the anger of others, as well as particular vices of deities to become all the more powerful. Able to observe and metabolize the hatred of a billion beings that he was originally comprised of, to swelling with power whenever a god acted meanly or selfishly and abused their power for petty reasons. However, despite his power, he's not completely invincible. His powers, in fact, his whole life itself, connected to the energies he feeds from. So his entire life is brought about from the hatred. So if there is none of that hatred, he will just, as I say, shrink or seemingly vanish if deprived of those mystical and psionic energies. Now, of course, with Odin is also a great character. So he's got a lot of great things. Looks like that in MCU. So he's the father of Thor and Hela, and he's also the adopted father of Loki, and he lives on Asgard. And if we go to his abilities, there we go. So he's got a few Asgardian physiology. As a king of Asgardians, he has immense superhuman abilities, far surpass all other Asgardians, even Thor, and then all that other stuff. So he just got a lot of power from this Asgardian physiology. Got superhuman strength. So of course he's a super strong person. So I'm guessing there'll be big there should be big damage numbers coming from this guy. And he's also got this regenerative healing factor. So despite his body's resistance, he can be injured like any other Asgardian. However, his metabolism enables him to rapidly regenerate damaged bodily tissue with greater speed and efficiency than a human being is capable of. So I'm wondering if they're gonna use this and give him some regen. I think they should. They should give him some sort of regeneration. Maybe after he gets, if he gets hit, like with, whenever he gets hit, he might get like a charge, and then once he gets a certain amount of charges that can only be taken away with like a heavy, then he will start regenning to make him harder on defense, or maybe for offensive if they're just some sort of regen, sort of like Wolverine's, where whenever he gets hurt, he'll regen in some way. And he's got longevity, like all Asgardians. He ages much slower than humans. Then he's got the Odin force manipulation. So he's got this thing that's really interesting called Odin sleep. Odin sleep. So if we look at this, he goes into a super long sleep, which is called Odin sleep. So it's just when he falls asleep for a while, and what it does is it's a state of deep sleep where he recharges the Odin force, and this is what gives him all of his crazy powers. So I'm wondering if he might have an ability sort of like Apocalypse's Awakened ability, where with Apocalypse's Awakened ability, if he's awakened and then you go a fight without him, then he'll regen a bit. So I wonder if instead of regenning, if you have Odin awaken, maybe you'll awaken his Odin sleep, and then maybe if you fight with him, and then every fight you don't fight with him in a row, then that will maybe give you like 1,000 fury. So if you go into your next fight, so if you go 4 fights without fighting as this guy, you could get a 4,000 fury. I think that would be a really interesting and cool thing they could do with Odin. But that's just some basics on Odin and MANGOG, and I'm excited for both these characters. I hadn't heard about MANGOG before, but he looks really cool, seems really cool. Then also Odin, I don't see how they can mess Odin up. They've probably been thinking about Odin for a while. And also, one last thing I'd like to see from Odin is I'd like to see a lot of synergies he could have. I want him to almost be like Apocalypse in a way where he can make other characters crazy good via his synergies. Like he should probably have one with Thor, one with Hela, one with like Thor Ragnarok and Loki, maybe also Thor Jane Foster, because in the comics the Odin didn't really like Thor Jane Foster, like called her like a fake Thor. So I wonder if there's some synergy with that. I feel like they could do a lot, and maybe even with Heimdall. And also, one last thing that Odin's got is he's got the Bifrost. So when Odin warned, he charged for it and used the Bifrost bridge. So pretty much, Odin is able to also use the Bifrost bridge, which is what Heimdall uses to send people between places. But in the game, that's what causes his cheat death mechanic. So I wonder if Odin could also have the same cheat death mechanic, so you don't have to have Heimdall to get that synergy, which would be really nice. And so, yeah, I want him to have really nice synergies, especially with other Asgardians. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you did enjoy, please smash that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. And until next time, peace!